Hello guys, today we are going to discuss chapter 5 of the business studies part A for class 12. The subtopics are meaning and importance, steps in the process of organizing, structure of organization, functional and divisional, formal and informal organization, delegation, meaning, elements and importance, decentralization, meaning and importance, difference between delegation and decentralization. The chapter name is organizing, which means to set up. Now we are going to discuss meaning of organization. The term organization is derived from organism, which means a structure of body divided into parts. The different parts of human body performing different activities combine themselves into a sound body structure. Organization is an enterprise, means the integration and coordination of individual efforts to achieve the cherished goal of the business enterprise. Organization, it is coordinate efforts of the different individuals working in an enterprise to achieve its goal. Organization as structure. Organization is a harmonious adjustment of specialized parts for the accomplishment of some common purpose or purposes by Hine. Now we can see the chart. Organization structure. In this chart, the top we found general manager, after that functional heads, that is production, finance and marketing managers. Under production we found plant superintendent, purchase officer, store officer. Under plant superintendent, foreman 1 and foreman 2 is present. Under finance function, accounts officer, audit officer. Under accounts officer, head clerk, chief cashier. Under marketing, sales promotion officer, sales officer, sales supervisor 1 and sales supervisor 2. Special features of organization as structure. Point number 1, relationship between members and groups. Point number 2, means to attain desired objectives. Point number 3, cooperation between members. Point number 4, formal relationship. And point number 5, communication. Organization as a process or managerial function. It means dividing and subdividing the entire function of the enterprise into different units and assigning every function to the right and most suited person. Dividing function into manageable units. Point number 2, grouping identical functions. Point number 3, assigning duties of the right persons. Point number 4, granting appropriate authority to the employees and also fixing their responsibilities. Point number 5, defining the mutual relationship between employees. Importance of organizing. Point number 1, assistance in management and administration through. Sub point number 1, division of work. Point number 2, unity of commands. Point number 3, effective delegation. Point number 4, coordination of efforts. Point number 5, continuous group efforts. Point number 6, effective communication. Number 2, increasing the efficiency. Under this, the sub points are: point number 1, optimum use of the available resources, physical and human. Point number 2, economy in the use of resources. Number 3, helping the development and expansion of the enterprise. Point number 1, elastic organization. Point number 2, training facilities. Steps in the process of organizing. Sub point number A, division of work. The main function is divided into sub functions and entrusted to the different developmental heads. This results in the establishment of departments like purchase, sales, production, accounts, publicity and public relations. The departments can be further classified just as production department into planning, designing, operation, production control and repairs and maintenance. The division of the work is based upon the fact that specialization is keynote of efficient organization. Subpoint number B, grouping job and departmentation. It aims at achieving coordination and facilitates utility of efforts. The departments are linked together on the basis of interdependence. The divided task is assigned to specific individual or group of individuals who are supposed to be most qualified and specialized person for the task. Subpoint number C, assigning duties. The work to be performed by every individual is clearly defined and made known to him. Everyone must know what he is required to do in order to avoid any misunderstanding, duplication or overlapping in the work. Point number D, granting authorities and fixing responsibilities. Assigning of duties to individuals must coincide with the appropriate and relevant authorities. Every employee must know what the authorities are granted to him and for what and to whom he will be responsible, liable and accountable. Subpoint number E, delegation of authorities. Those who are made responsible for specific tasks are given due authority. Both responsibility and authority go hand in hand together. Reasonable powers are delegated to heads and supervisory staff to do their work with ease and efficiency. Point F, effective communication. There should be proper arrangement of communicating messages from executives to subordinates and vice versa. Point number G, coordination of activities for common objectives. Business activity is a teamwork or the group activity, so the efforts of every employee must be coordinated effectively to achieve the common objectives of the enterprise. Structure of organization. Broadly speaking, there are two structures of an organization, that is functional organization structure and divisional structure organization. First, functional structure. Grouping together the entire work into major functional departments and entrusting these departments to functional specialists is known as functional structure of organization. Function structure chart. In this chart, we can see president is the topmost. Under it, there are 4 departments head: research and development manager, finance manager, marketing manager, and manufacturing manager. Under research and development manager, design, development and testings are conducted. Under finance manager, accounting and purchasing are conducted. Under marketing manager, sales and customer services are conducted. Under manufacturing manager, line supervisor, production teams, distributions are available. Advantages of functional structure. Point number A, it is logical reflection of function. It differentiates functions in such a manner that each function is organized on a logical pattern for its performance. Point number B, it maintains power and prestige of major functions. Major functions like production, marketing, finance, etc. are assigned to departmental health to drive major activities concerning these functions. Point number C, it simplifies training. Due to success of specialization, it becomes easy to train new entrants. Simplified training methods are used to reduce learning curve of new employees. Disadvantages of functional structure. Subpoint number A, responsibility for profits is at top only. Responsibility for profit lies with the president or CEO, while each functional head looks after his assigned areas of activity. This makes it difficult to integrate diverse functions towards achievement of common objectives. Point number B, slow adoption to change in environment. Due to lack of interfunctional interaction, personnel tend to become less responsible to any change. Point number C, limits development of general manager. General manager acts as a mere supervision other than learning in depth the organizational activities. Divisional structure, grouping of activities or departmentation on the basis of the product lines in the areas is known as division structure of organization. Divisional structure chart. The topmost belongs to CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Different division had similar departments. Division product X, division product Y, division product Z. Under each department we found research and development, marketing, finance. Disadvantages of divisional structure. Point number 1, requires more person with general manager abilities. It requires more managerial resources, especially in enterprises where single product line is not most enough to need separate managerial resource. Point number 2, overlapping of production. Top management has to monitor each product line separately, which makes it difficult to analyze the overlapping of the function. Point number 3, duplication of efforts. Generally, certain set of activities are found in every department. Repetition of these activities results in the duplication and multiplication of efforts and expenditure. Advantages of divisional structure. Point number 1, places attention and offer or product line. It facilitates attention on individual product line, so the highest efficiency in terms of production and sales can be achieved in their product line. Point number 2, permits growth and diversity of products and services. Attention on individual product line permits its growth and facilities diversification of enterprise. Point number 3, improves coordination of functional activities. Activities like sale, marketing, production are better coordinate due to their clear-cut attention on different product lines. Overlapping of functional activities is avoided. Differences between functional structure and divisional structure. Basis, functional structure, divisional structure. Point number 1, formation. Under functional structure, formation is based on function. Under divisional structure, formation is based on product line and is supported by functions. Point number 2, specialization. Under functional structure, functional specialization. Under divisional structure, product specialization. Point number 3, responsibility. Under functional structure, difficult to fix on a department. Under divisional structure, easy to fix responsibility for performance. Point number 4, managerial development. Under functional structure, difficult as each functional manager has to report to the top management. Under divisional structure, easier autonomy as well as the chance to perform multiple functions helps in managerial development. Point number 5, cost. Cost. Under functional structure, functions are not duplicated, hence economical. Under divisional structure, duplications of resources in various departments, hence costly. Point number 6, coordination. Under functional structure, difficult for a multi-product company. Under divisional structure, easy because all functions related to a particular product are integrated in one department. Next topic, formal and informal organization. Formal organization. The formal organization is legally, deliberately and rationally constituted by defining the duties, authorities and responsibilities of employees individually and collectively. The characteristics of formal organization are: subpoint number A, organization structure is determined by the top level management. Point number B, the relationship established by the formal organization has to be honored. Point number C, the organization does not take into consideration emotional aspect. Point number D, the relationship is determined according to the jobs and its nature. Point number E, the organization is predetermined and deliberately constituted. Advantages of formal organization. Point number 1, fixing of responsibilities in case of failure. Point number 2, clear determination of duties, authorities and responsibilities. Point number 3, reasonable and balanced division and subdivision of the activities. Point number 4, easy and effective coordination and control over activities. Disadvantages of formal organization. Point number 1, the formal communication may lead to procedural delays as the established chain of command has to be followed, which increases the time taken for decision making. Point number 2, poor organization practices may not provide adequate reorganization to creative talent. Point number 3, it is difficult to understand all human relationship in an enterprise as it places more emphasis on structure and work. Informal organization. Informal organization is a psychosocial system developed due to interpersonal and social relationship. This organization is formed informally between workers, employees, travelers, pilgrims, players and friends, etc. The characteristics of informal organization are: subpoint number A, it is a voluntary organization. Sub point number B, informal relationship is established spontaneously. Sub point number C, the relationship is based upon friendship and common interest. Point number D, it is not pre-planned and not even determined officially. The relationship is based upon social, emotional and psychological needs. Point number F, it reflects human relationship. Advantages of informal organization. Point number 1, prescribed line of communication are not followed, thus the informal organization lead to fast spread of information as well as quick feedback. Point number 2, it helps to fulfill the social needs of the members and allows them to find like-minded people. This enhances their job satisfaction since it gives them a sense of belongingness in the organization. Point number 3, it contributes towards fulfillment of organizational objectives by compensating for adequacies in the formal organization. For example, employees' reaction towards plans and policies can be tested through the informal network. Disadvantages of informal organization. Point number 1, weaken informal. When can informal organization spread rumors, it becomes a destructive force and goes against the interests of the formal organization. Point number 2, the management may not be successful in implementing changes if the informal organization opposes them. Such resistance to change may delay or restrict growth. Point number 3, it pressurizes members to conform to group expectations. This can be harmful of the organization if the norms set by the group are against organizational interests. Distinction between formal organization and informal organization. Basis, formal organization and informal organization. Point number 1, meaning. Under formal organization, structure of authority, relationship created by the management. Under informal organization, network of social relationships arising out of interaction among employees. Point number 2, origin. Under formal organization, arises as a result of company rules and policies. Under informal organization, arises as a result of social interaction. Point number 3, authority. Under formal organization, arises by virtue of position in management. Under informal organization, arises out of personal qualities. Point number 4, behavior. Under formal organization, it is directed by rules. Under informal organization, there is no set behavior pattern. Point number 5, flow of communication. Under formal organization, communication takes place through the scalar chain. Under informal organization, flow of communication is not through a planned route. It can be placed in any direction. Point number 6, nature. Under formal organization, it is rigid. Under informal organization, it is flexible. Under point number 7, leadership. Under formal organization, managers are leaders. Under informal organization, leaders may or may not be managers. They are chosen by the group. Next point, delegation. It refers to the downward transfer of authority from a superior to a subordinate It is a prerequisite to the efficient functioning of an organization because it enables a manager to use his time on high priority activities. Authority. It refers to the right of an individual to command his subordinates and to take action within the scope of his position. The concept of authority arises from the established scalar chain which links the various job positions and levels of an organization. It also refers to the right to take decisions inherent in managerial position to tell people what to do and expect them to do it. Responsibility. It is an obligation of a subordinate to properly perform the assigned duty. It arises from a superior subordinate relationship because the subordinate is bound to perform the duty assigned to him by his superior. Thus, responsibilities flow upward, that is, a subordinate will always be responsible to his superior. Accountability. It implies answerable for the find outcome. Once authority has been delegated and flows upward, that is, a subordinate will be accountable to a superior for satisfactory performance of work. It indicates that the manager has to ensure the proper discharge of duties by the subordinate. It is generally enforced through regular feedback on the extent of work accomplished. Distinguish between authority, responsibility, and accountability. Basis: authority, responsibility, accountability. Point number 1: meaning. Under authority, right to command. Under responsibility, obligation to perform an assigned task. Under accountability, answerability for outcome of the assigned task. Point number 2: delegation. Under authority, can be delegated. Under responsibility, cannot be entirely delegated. Under accountability, cannot be delegated at all. Point number 3: origin. Under authority, arises from formal position. Under responsibility, arises from delegated authority. Under accountability, arises from responsibility. Point number 4: flow. Under authority, flows downward from superior to subordinate. Under responsibility, flows upward from subordinate to superior. Under accountability, flows upward from subordinate to superior. Next point: centralization. It is the process of decision making where authority and responsibility belongs to the single hand person, that is top management. This kind of process is suitable under small business, that is either manufacturing, supply of goods or services. Some of the examples are small scale industries, departmental stores, etc. Decentralization. It is the process of decision making where authority and responsibility belongs to multiple hands, that is within an organization different departments or functions have their own departmental or functional heads to take decisions as needed. It is usually used in the big organizations, that is either manufacturing or supply of goods and services. Some of the examples are service provider companies, large scale industries, etc. Distinguish between delegation and decentralization under organization. Basis: delegation, decentralization. Point number 1: nature. Under delegation, delegation is a compulsory act because no individual can perform all tasks on his own. Under decentralization, decentralization is an optional policy decision. It is done at the discretion of the top management. Point number 2, freedom of actions. Under delegation, more control, be superior, hence less freedom to take own decisions. Under decentralization, less control over executives, hence greater freedom of actions. Point number 3, status. Delegation, it is the process followed to share tasks. Under decentralization, it is the result of the policy decision of the top management. Point number 4, scope. Under delegation, it has narrow scope as it is limited to superior and his immediate subordinate. Decentralization, it has wide scope as it implies extension of delegation to the lowest level of management. Point number 5, purpose. Under delegation, to lessen the burden of the manager. Under decentralization, to increase the role of the subordinate in the organization by giving them more autonomy. Thank you.